there are reasons that sellers want to sell by the end of the year, and then buyers are able to get basically a better deal because the seller really wants to sell. I have done probably the last 5 years or so a contract on Christmas, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
We are on We Fixed Real Estate. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the holiday season. We're recording this episode just a little bit before Thanksgiving, and we want to help both buyers and sellers navigate these holiday seasons. There's certain tactics that you can use. Today, we have Fred Glick, as always, on the show, and Jen May. Jen, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Staying dry. It's stopped raining here finally.
It is. We have had some rain. I read today it was 3 times the normal seasonal average.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's coming again Thursday and Friday.
Tomorrow.
It is. And I feel bad. My friends that just bought a house down the street, I drove past today as I was going to the store, and they had sandbags out in front of their door, and they just bought the house during the summer. So this is a prime example of when to tour houses and taking advantage of this kind of winter season.
Well, yeah. First of all, if you're in the roofing business, the French drain business, the waterproofing of houses business, redoing insides after, you guys are going to be busy, and that's going to hurt people trying to get regular stuff done, but especially roofers. Oh my God, these guys are going to have a field day and be incredibly busy. So, this is the time to look into, if something leaked a little bit, maybe you fix it, but maybe you want to put a whole new roof on, new kind of surfacing. There's a lot to check out from this weather to foolproof the house going forward. But yeah, it's crazy.
We talk about like in the holidays with the rains, that's maybe one of the better times to go look at an open house, because you're going to see the different, where the water gathers, where the water pools versus for the house on a perfect sunny day.
Yeah. The one thing you can't tell online is how a house smells. Oh. So you can go in there and there's maybe a little musty smell, not a good thing. There's a reason. The water's coming from somewhere. So yeah, I love showing houses or having you see houses the day after it rains, because everything is seeped through, and you can see the active leaks going on still. Probably the day it rains is always fun too, but it's kind of dangerous out there, especially in LA. Nobody knows how to drive in the rain. It's just, they freak out. I mean, back east, driving in the rain, big deal. You usually get tires that will adjust for it. But here, everybody, performance tires, and, you can see the Ferraris just sliding all over. But not that anyone would take their Ferrari out in this weather. It can get ugly out there, but you can take advantage of it as a buyer, because this is the time you want to go look at things as soon as you can, during or after the weather.
Yeah.
Like today would be a good day to look. Or Saturday after it rains, Thursday and Friday. And what that's going to do is take some houses off the market. We're going to see a lot come off the market. We normally see houses go off the market because of the holidays, because from basically, in California at least, right before Thanksgiving until the Super Bowl is the quiet time. And then after the Super Bowl is the quote unquote spring market. Spring here starts in February. Whereas Philadelphia, it starts in April. So, it's a big difference of things of how it works here. So if you're taking your house off to get repaired, this is a good time to do it. If you're taking your house off just because you want to bring it back in the spring, well, that means you're probably at this point, something wrong with the house. You've overpriced it. You've done something wrong that it's not selling. And you better figure out what that is, bring it back, not jack the price up just because it's springtime. But I always say to my sellers, look, what you want people to do is look at the MLS or look at the Redfin or the Zillow, as you can see here in one of our listings, and say to yourself, you know what? That's priced reasonably. It looks nice. Let me go see it. The whole idea of the listing, or the online listing, is to get people to come and see it. Good. That's really it. Get them excited. Overpricing it, you're not attracting anyone. The Sultan of Brunei is not coming and looking at Trulia and Zillow and Redfin and saying, I want this one, this one, this one. I don't care what I pay. It doesn't exist. There's nobody out there. It's like you're assuming someone stupid is going to come see your property. Anybody with an eighth of a buyer broker or an eighth of a brain can tell you that's overpriced. So what they do is they overprice it because the seller wants it, and the listing agent just buys the listing. He'll take it. He doesn't care what price. Oh yeah, I can get you this price, and then the market changed and blah blah blah. So people also say, oh well, if I go higher, I can negotiate down. Well, it's not the way it works. What you want to do is attract a lot of people who are interested at the lower price, and maybe 2 or 3 come in and they bid it up. You don't bid it down. It doesn't work that way. So might have worked 40 years ago before there was the internet. There's the internet now. And it is completely changed the game because of that. Everybody knows all the data. It's all there.
So the thought process on bidding it down is you list the house for $1 million. Someone comes in where the house is probably worth $860. So you list the house for $1 million. Someone comes in and bids $800, and you counter with 9, and they feel like they're getting $100,000 discount, but you're really making 40 grand more.
Something like that.
That's an archaic philosophy. Usually it's you want some enthusiasm.
1 in a billion, it works, but really doesn't work. But there's plenty of agents who'll take any listing. They don't care what it is. And
let's talk about the sellers. You definitely had some really good points there about the sellers. Like maybe a good time to fix your house. If it's taken off the market, to take it off the market, there's an opportunity lost. What about buyers? Because houses are still being sold. There's end of the year obligations people need to do. There's certain reasons why people need to buy a home by the end of the year. If you're a buyer, let's take California, for example, what are some strategies buyers can use in this holiday market?
Realize us and the big banks can get your loan closed in 15 days. As long as you're fully underwritten, pre-approved, and no hassles, and maybe the inspection's already done, there's nothing to argue. Boom, quick, done, finished. So if you can get under contract basically by December 15th on something and get somebody done by the end of the year, and there might be some capital gains involved. Now remember, some of these people, if they've owned the house since 1968, they paid $26,000 for it. They're selling it for $1.5 million. They're going to have a capital gains situation. So do they want to delay it to next year? Do they have a capital loss that they want to offset it with this year? They go and sell their Bitcoin today because it's only 90,000 instead of 110. And you take the loss and you can offset the capital gain of your primary residence, even though you have the one-time exemption, $250 if you're single, $500 if you're married. Who knows how that's going to change or whatever. So there are reasons that sellers want to sell by the end of the year, and then buyers are able to get basically a better deal because the seller really wants to sell. I have done probably the last 5 years or so a contract on Christmas, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, pretty much. I don't think I've ever done one on Thanksgiving. I think everybody's busy on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Remember, not everybody's Christian. In the tech world in Northern California, I mean, there's predominance of Asian clientele and Jews and whoever else doesn't celebrate Christmas. They can go look at a house on Christmas Day. It's not a big deal. So, I mean,
that ties into competition for the buyer. Like if you're looking, you wait for the spring rush, you're going to have probably 30 people going into the open house making offers. Whereas if you're looking at this kind of slower season, you may only have 2 or 3 other competing offers for some of these hot properties.
Right. Some of the other things we can do, you can't do it on Trulia and Zillow or Redfin, but I can do it in the MLS. I can say, give me all the properties that went off the market between a certain date and in this area for this price range. And I can find the places that went off the market and say to buyers, look here, let me send you all these addresses. And by the looks of them, if you have any interest, let me know. I'll contact the agent and say, look, my client really likes your house. I know it's off the market right now, but can we take a look at it? Oh, well, the seller is painting it. They said, that's okay. My buyers get it. We can make it subject to a completion. And then you're selling a quote unquote off market property to a buyer. So it's a really interesting time that we still have the inventory, we still know what it is. We just have to dig it out. So there's a lot of work we do as a buyer broker in this weird season for not just what's listed, but what could be not listed.
That's an interesting point. They might take it off between Thanksgiving and New Year's just because they don't want to deal with it, but they're still open for a sale if they want.
Exactly. They were going to bring it back in the spring market, but maybe they get 20,000 more then. But, is it worth taking a fully underwritten buyer ready to go in 15 days? Now at this price, maybe.
Plus the mortgage payment that you'd be paying between now and the spring market. And the uncertainty of what's going to be happening.
And taxes and insurance and, all that stuff. So, yeah, it's an interesting idea. And everybody's going to be a little bit different with this.
Very interesting. And now in California, do we see it? Is there less of a seasonal shift in, especially Southern California versus someplace like Philadelphia or some of the other markets, Colorado?
Yeah, the weather's crappy. The weather's crappy back east for longer.
Mm-hmm.
It's actual real winter. I mean, winter here, it goes down to 58 at night. So we still are bundled up. But yeah, it's all about the weather and it's the motivation of people. I mean, the weather's crappy. You're kind of not motivated to look. Mm-hmm. Unless you're in a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 screaming kids, you need to get out. So, yeah, it just all depends. But sellers just, you still have to think like a buyer. That's really the best advice I can give you. What's a buyer going to do when they look at a house? What's a buyer going to expect price-wise? What's a buyer going to expect for inspections? Just make it so easy for them. And put it all out there. And the other thing that an agent should be doing and or the sellers, not only the buyer gets pre-approved for a mortgage, what you need to do with your listing is get it pre-approved for insurance. Because especially if you're in, I'll use Hillsborough as an example, where it's all trees along the mountain, and maybe you have knob and tube wiring and your roof is 20 years old, you're going to have a problem getting insurance. Mm-hmm. So Michael, who was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, went into a lot of detail. And, I talked to him on every house we have listed just to make sure that, hey, can I get insurance on this place? And what is their official ballpark of what it's going to cost too?
A ballpark. I mean, like a fully underwritten pre-approval mortgage. We've talked about that many times on the show. If you haven't heard about it, go back and listen to any of the past episodes. But now, as far as a pre-approved insurance, is there the same sort of parameters, or is it just like we've called a few insurance companies and they say it's insurable?
They don't issue anything. I mean,
like a guarantee of insurance.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. It'd be pretty cool, or at least give us a bid for the insurance. Maybe we can do that, and we put that in the disclosures if yours, an example.
I think that's a great selling factor. I mean, even if it's not official, like a fully underwritten, you're at least helping the buyer understand that they can get insurance on it.
Right. And what it's going to cost. Because nobody knows until they actually sign a contract and then go searching for insurance as to what it's going to cost. They don't have a clue. Mm-hmm. They know what the tax is going to be, usually 1.25% of the sale price. Mm-hmm. They know what the principal and interest is because that's called mathematics. But the insurance, who knows? I mean, it depends on coverages and things like that. But for the basic coverages that you need, there's fire, there's liability, there's just all kinds. I am not an expert. I am not licensed. That's why I talk to a guy like Michael.
Oh yeah. Go back to that episode too. Or alternative insurance options over and above Fair Plan.
Exactly. Especially in California where there's, Oakland Hills, an example of place. Anywhere where there's going to be fires. Really what it is. But then again, you had Pacific Palisades. There's no trees there.
Yeah.
That burned. Was the fire in your area? There were trees there. Yeah. Because I remember hiking up there.
Yeah. It started in the canyon from the power company, I think. And then it just spread because of the wind. The wind was like 90 miles per hour that night.
The Santa Ana winds. I like when the president said, they could have solved this. No.
It's not so much in trees. It's that ground brush. It's all those shrubs that are dried up. They're only like, at the most 8 to 10 feet tall, but a 90-mile-per-hour wind whipping over the top of those shrubs is going to send the same sparks.
Oh, and by the way, here's another thing on the buyer side. Make sure that you have a condition, a contingency for the fire chief to come out and check the house. Even if it's not in a fire zone and you have trees there. We just had one in Hillsborough. We forced it through. The seller ended up paying all this money to get everything, the debris cleared and the trees cut back and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And we were able to get our buyers better homeowners insurance because of it.
Oh, wow.
That's another thing. I mean, the whole thing about insurance is crazy. And I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're in, some regular neighborhood in LA that's got no trees. You get the house pre-approved for insurance and the price. You're guiding the buyers into a number. They're free to use anybody, obviously. So pretty cool.
That's some excellent advice for buyers and sellers. I mean, the buyers need to be understanding that as well.
Yep.
Question: does the fire chief, the actual chief, have to come out to see the property? Can't you just send someone from the department?
I don't know.
That seems like an important job for the one.
I know I requested the inspection through CAL FIRE, and I think it says the fire marshal, but I'm sure, I don't know. I feel like around here, they send the fire trucks out anytime you call for anything. So,
yeah.
Was the fire marshal different than the fire chief, or is that just two different names for the same person?
Maybe. Yeah.
Well, somebody who knows what they're doing is coming.
The appropriate authority.
Exactly. The appropriate authority. Like that.
Don't call your cousin and ask them if the trees are okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
At the pre-show, we were discussing some, we always banter back and forth about agent stories and whatnot. And I know we were talking about something pretty interesting about your experience up in Washington past couple weeks.
Yeah. So here's a weird thing about Washington State. If a seller puts in writing that they require the attendance of a buyer broker at the appraisal, at the home inspection, at anything like that, the broker puts that and the broker puts that on the MLS. But what they can't do is refuse to pay the buyer broker fee because of it. It's kind of a weird thing, but we have this agent who did not get in writing from the seller, who said to me, well, you have to show the property and you have to be at the appraisal and you have to be at the home inspection, or you're not getting your buyer broker fee. That's fine. Why? Because I was getting the buyer to pay my buyer broker fee, not the seller. He was like, he didn't know what to do. He was a nightmare. He was rude. His everything was as curt as possible. But here's the other little thing in Washington. They've been giving out the name of the seller and the phone number actually in the contracts. They've been doing this because for years and years and years, well, it was something special and the seller had to know. So fine, I have the seller's name and the seller's phone number. Gave it to my buyer. Because if I talk to the seller, it's unethical and in some states a violation of law. I'm not sure in Washington, but I don't care because I don't do it. So my buyer had been corresponding with the seller on every little piece of minutia that the buyer broker wouldn't help us with. And thank God we had it, or the deal would have never gone through. But somehow this seller, didn't batch the agent, but probably is pissed off at him. But the thing you can do as a consumer, as a buyer, we told them, go to Google and write a review of the seller's agent. You can do that because you were involved in a transaction and it was real. And it's just rude. I mean, if you hire an agent who's that rude to other agents and makes it impossible. Oh, here's the other thing about him. About 15 times he tried to get the buyer to work through him instead of us. He's trying to steal the buyer and do dual agency. Another clear violation of the law. We have it in writing from him. He wrote to Chris, who's the other agent I have in Washington, about, you should just refer this to me. It's like, no, dude, we're not. And so I'm sure was pissy about that. His whole MO was dual agency. Well,
he didn't even want to show the house.
Yeah, he was a creep. He was a total creep. But we fought him, and that's what we do. And we love these things. We love them. We cherish them because it makes it more interesting.
Yeah, that is the full service and full representation.
Yeah,
then fighting the good fight.
Exactly. And that's what we love doing. Vanilla. The transactions I truly hate are the 28 bids for a place in Cupertino that's going to go 15 billion over asking, where you just submit an offer. That's all you're really doing. Now I have a couple of deals where there's no competition. So I'm putting in contingencies because I can and negotiate prices lower. And, it's more fun.
Yeah. So the market's shifting a little bit. Peninsula?
I won't say it's shifting. It was teensy bit. These two were kind of overpriced. One had an offer date that nobody put in an offer. So that was good to know because it's overpriced. And there was a few things wrong, and my buyer understands that. Hey, and again, guys, run your disclosures and inspections through AI and use the prompt. Basically, you can make up your own prompt, but basically say, I'm a first-time buyer. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm scared to death. Tell me everything bad about this property. Go into detail. Give me the prices of what it will cost to repair in my region using union labor, so you get the highest number. And that'll give you a great idea. And run it through 2 or 3 different AIs and see what answers you get. But we've been using ChatGPT for this, and it's been good because I think it's been being fed by a lot of real estate agents, a lot of these and buyers. So it's finally learning even more about this. And
are you setting up a separate project for each one of your clients?
Oh God, no, I'm not that organized with that.
Now, the one thing, since we are talking about prompt engineering, the prompt you gave sound awesome. Try adding just one more line. I want you to go step by step through the contract. For some reason, that one sentence causes it, instead of giving your response in 15 seconds, it'll take 45 to a minute.
Yeah, and I hit the deep research button too.
Okay.
That also helps. But I'll add that. So there you go, kids. There's your new prompt.
There we go.
So
you need to get a prompt library on Arrivva. Not financial advice, but just to help first-time buyers.
One of these days. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, so I'm sure my prompts could get a lot better. And I'm sure there's some AI I put my prompt into and say, give me a better prompt for this, and then put it into another AI.
Yeah. You use AI to prompt engineer your prompts.
I know. It's crazy.
How would I make this better? That's interesting. Well, let's see. This has been very helpful. So this will probably come out right after Thanksgiving. Maybe right before, because it's still this week, not next week. But yeah, going into the holidays, it's an exciting time if you're a buyer. And it's
quick advertisement for this.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is our listing down in Morgan Hill.
Man, look at all the people in the kitchen.
I'm telling you. See, that's something we do on our listings now is we fill them up with people in the pictures. No kids. We're not allowed to do that, but it's not real people.
Not even little AI kids?
No, we can't even have fake kids. But here's something interesting. You see this picture and that picture. Well, that's just, wait, let me back on this side. Sorry. That's completely AI. The backyard is total dirt. And we put this in the listing so that you know it, but we're just telling you that it's fake. It's things you can do.
It doesn't have a pool.
Doesn't have a pool. Doesn't even have the grass.
What about the front yard? That's
real. That's real.
That's real. Okay. Wow.
Yes. But we disclose that there is AI in here. And that's a new state law that's hitting on January 1st that you have to disclose what's AI and what's not.
Oh, that's interesting.
What's
what
really
about
there? What's not.
What if you used AI just to help craft your property description? Is that
that's fine. They're talking about pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this
is great. Is when you virtually stage things, did you have to disclose that?
We usually did. So what we do, we show the blank room. We show the made up room, then show the blank room as the next picture.
Okay.
So they get an idea. So we have a new listing coming up where we're going to be doing that cool 2-2 penthouse condo in San Francisco. But this house, here's some interesting things about it. It's in Morgan Hill. Now, Morgan Hill's a 20 to 30 minute drive from San Jose on the 101. It's probably 40 minutes from Cupertino. I'm guessing, guys. I mean, in traffic obviously makes it worse. But I talked to a couple of people who came to the open house. I said, what if this was in Cupertino? What would you have to pay for it? And they said, both of them said, at least $8 million. Wow. Exactly. So if you're in tech and you're looking at, you want to buy something for $4 million in Cupertino and you're not seeing what you like, and you don't have to go to the office that often, hey, come down to Morgan Hill. This is in Toll Brothers community that is almost sold out, but this model is not available. This is almost 6,100 square feet, 5-bedroom, 6 baths, first floor, main suite. So, your parents don't have to go up and down. But here's the craziest thing about the house, and what Toll Brothers doesn't do, but I've suggested. There's no elevator.
Oh, yes.
Arthur's my favorite thing. And there's actually a place that an elevator could go, and I'm kind of showing people, but I did not put that in the AI, but that's an idea that I'm going to do now. AI in the elevator.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. No, big advocates of elevators. My mother-in-law can testify to it.
Yes, we've gone through this in the podcast before, but it's a great property. It's like ready to just come in and personalize. It's really what it amounts to. It was just closed in August of 2025. So it's literally almost brand new. You still have the warranty till next August.
Oh, wow.
And the buyers, the seller has a business situation where he's got to move. So that's really all it is. But he's not going to give it away. We have all the disclosures, everything. We even got it inspected. We had all the paperwork from when he originally bought it through Toll Brothers. You can see all the options. Everything is there. Like usual. And I'm not really worried about insurance on this one, but I should get an estimate from Michael.
Yeah. It looks like it's got a clear perimeter around it.
Yep.
Latest construction. Got solar. How many kilowatts going on that roof?
Yeah, you got me, dude.
The solar contract is in the disclosures, so.
Okay.
It's a lease, but it doesn't seem too bad. It's 30-year, but they take care of the maintenance and all that stuff. So it's what Toll Brothers offers.
Oh, cool. Oh, it's through them. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes it easy.
Well, you got to, every new construction house has to have solar now in California. Been that way for a couple of years.
I didn't know that. How did I not know that?
Yeah, pretty much. I forget which law it is and all that, but easily checked out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Our house in Morgan Hill. And Morgan Hill is a cool up-and-coming area. I mean, I know I've driven past it many times driving south.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the train runs to Morgan Hill. So you can take the Caltrain right to San Francisco from Morgan Hill.
Any idea how long it takes to get from Morgan Hill to San Jose?
I'll let you all Google that and look at the schedule. But you could take this in Morgan Hill and go to the airport, either airport by Caltrain. So that makes it easy. So, and Morgan Hill's got a cute little downtown. And there's everything there. There's Home Depot, there's whatever. It gets built up, and it's getting more built up, and it's becoming more sexy to be in Morgan Hill than it used to be. And the prices have gone up, and there's still some, farmland there. There's some big single old properties.
Yeah.
That are going to probably come around. I'm sure Toll Brothers is trying to find something else there.
There's always another plot of land for them to build.
Somewhere. Yeah. But, takes them 15 years to build. It's crazy. But, and then Gilroy, which is just a little bit south by 5-10 miles, something like that. Gilroy's still got nice houses under $1 million. You can deal If you got to commute up a day or two, take the train. It's a good place. Get something at a better price.
Oh yeah, no, I like Gilroy.
Yeah.
Pungent at times, but
you gotta love garlic though. Try the garlic ice cream. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
It sounds weird, but it's really good. Kind of that sweet and pungent together. So there's the food review for the day.
Oh, gotta have a food review. Tonight I'm making a pork roast for my parents. They're coming over. So that is what I'm tending to over the next 3 to 4 hours. If we're doing food reviews.
Okay, so should we do turkey recipes now, or
turkey recipes? Yes.
The way to do it is just go on Erwan's website, give them all your money. Dinner. It's the way to go.
Well, I think we've done it. This has been the latest episode of We Fixed Real Estate with holiday home buying tips and selling tips, including how to navigate difficult agents.